What's going on, Tiger Bite crew? Hope you are all doing well. Today we'll be reviewing a game called Colony Simulator, which is currently free on Steam. The description of the game on Steam says, can your colony survive 10 days or more in the desert? Find food, build your colony, recruit new workers, feed your population, craft tools and equipment, cook food, and research technologies. I'll have to start off and say that this very much feels like an unfinished game so far, with no title screen, no soundtrack, and a really empty map. It looks and feels very similar to the old real-time strategy games such as Age of Empires or StarCraft, where you need to forage for materials in order to build structures and progress through the game. However, there are some major differences as well, which I'll get to in a little bit. So just like old times, I started off by making my villagers forage for wood and stone so that I can build more houses, which would allow me to create more villagers. Materials that you need to forage in this game include food, stone, wood, gold, oil, water, and so forth. However, unlike the old StarCraft and Age of Empires games, you also have to manage the health, happiness, and hunger of your villagers by eating and sleeping, which I found to be a little tedious, and I never really got the hang of it. I'm not sure if this is still a work in progress by the developers, but I simply couldn't figure this part out. However, what I thought was hilarious is that if you click the sleep button, the villager immediately stops what he or she is doing and passes out on the spot. Also, if you click the eat button, then the villager makes this hand gesture that New Yorkers make when you cut them off on the sidewalk. And then I discovered that my colony was sitting on top of oil, and so obviously I channeled my inner Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood and decided to become an oil baron. I decided that my colony will run on the black gold, and so by day 10, this place better look like Dubai. So everything was going according to plan until I got a notification telling me that one of my villagers, Kelly, was caught stealing. Damn it, Kelly. Now I had the choice to forgive her or to banish her for her crime. Although I was a bit disappointed that there weren't more extreme punishment options, like having to fight a Rancor under Jabba the Hutt's palace, I decided to simply banish her into the wilderness. However, either Kelly didn't care about my decision and she just decided to stay, or the developers didn't complete this part of the game yet. Anyway, it was all water under the bridge, so I decided to let it go and move on. That is until zombies attacked me. I think they killed one of my villagers, so I sent the entire unorganized and untrained civilian militia to take care of this threat. I don't know what happened, but I still had 10 villagers afterwards, which is the same amount that I had before this attack, so it was all good. Oh, one thing that was kind of annoying was that the villagers seemed to do random things very often. For example, I found villagers randomly working at the meat farm when I didn't prompt anyone to do so. Other times, I would task villagers with mining some gold, but when I come back to them, I would see that they had gone on their own to chop down trees. Now, while I would normally be proud of their initiative in doing what the Isengard orcs did in Lord of the Rings, man, I really just wanted to mine for some gold so that I can build some sick Rolex watches. So remember my dreams of becoming an oil baron? Well, I kind of gave up after 5 minutes because, to put it bluntly, it was a little boring and there was nothing much to it. And I honestly think that sums up how I feel about this game. It has promising ideas that make me excited to revisit the games of my childhood, but it hasn't really followed through on this promise. You're just collecting materials so that you can create new buildings or get upgrades on a fairly primitive research tree. What's cool is a system of converting raw materials to more finished products. For example, you can use water to make beer, which is a cool concept. I also thought that the pop-up notifications that require you to make decisions was an interesting concept as well. Overall, I think this is an unfinished game that tries to have its own take on our classic real-time strategy games such as StarCraft and Age of Empires. It was interesting at first, until you realize the limited amount of things you can actually do. Also, there seemed to be a lack of any purpose behind anything you're doing. For example, in StarCraft or Age of Empires, you're gathering resources to build an army to defend your base or to conquer others. Here, however, I don't know what the purpose behind anything is besides merely surviving, which could be a really awesome idea for a real-time strategy game, but that one zombie attack that I experienced was really not a threat, so I never had that sense of urgency going forward. I also never got the hang of managing my villagers' happiness levels and thought it was interesting but tedious. Regardless, I always love a real-time strategy game, and it evokes memories of when I used to play a ton of these kinds of games growing up. It will be cool to see what this game looks like if the developers end up finishing it, but for now, I can't be too mad because it cost a grand total of $0. Well, that's it for this review. If you would like more content like this, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.